Again, 2 5 1s are going to be used everywhere. I could 2 5 to the 2. Right? D minor's diatonic to the key. 2 5 to the 2, minor 2 5 to the 1. So I can minor 2 5 to the 3, minor 2 5 to the 2, minor 2 5 to the 1, minor 2 5 to the 6, which is where this comes from. All right, we're going to talk about minor 2 5s. Where do minor 2 5s come from? Well, in order to first understand minor 2 5s, you have to understand regular 2 5 1s. So be sure to check out the 2 5 1 lecture. That's basically what this is all covering. Remember, 2 5 1s are diatonic to our key. It's the 2, the 5, and the 1. So there it is in C. We do, D minor, G7, C major. Okay, but how do you make it minor? Well, when we make it minor, we're basically going to go to a minor 1 instead of a major 1. And most of the time, you're going to hear this described as, 2 5 to minor 1. So a minor 2 5, right? Okay, well, our ears hear the root movement the same, but now resolving to a minor chord instead of major. Notice how the numbers show C minor as being the 1 chord, and all the notes that are used are the same notes that are in C harmonic minor. We'll get into this, and C aeolian. So read that. We won't want to jump into that too much right now, but let's check out this minor 2 5. So D half diminished, G7, C minor. So 2 chords always half diminished, is what they tell you. Then the 5 chord, then minor 1. Okay, cool. So that's minor 2 5. But I always wondered, why is it half diminished? Like, why do we use a 2 half diminished instead of a normal 2? It's because our ear hears this as a 7-3-6. That's really what it is. So if you go back to secondary dominance lecture, you'll see me talk about all the secondary dominants, but specifically the dominant 3, which is what creates our minor 2 5, because it creates when you play 7, the 7th chord in the scale first. You play 7-3-6. Well, it creates a D. It creates a 2 5 1 movement. Now, over my years of playing, I say, and specific thanks to my church gig, my ears hear a minor 2 5 as 7-3-6. In this case, we're in E flat. C minor is the 6, which is the aeolian, right? Dominant 3 is what basically creates and defines a minor 2 5, is what this says. It's one of the most important secondary dominants, in my opinion. And the minute you start to see this and start to hear this, it really starts to make sense. Most people will tell you that a minor 2 5 is in C minor, and that's correct. I'm not saying you shouldn't think of minor 1 still, right? But once you really start playing tunes, you're going to really start to hear how that sounds like a 7-3-6 in whatever key it is, right? So this is why I say 1 is 1. Your ear hears C no matter what is 1, whether it's major or minor. So this idea of parallel key movement, blues, I don't want to get too deep into it. You can check out that lecture. Okay, let's move on. This brings me to one of the most important perspectives hearing-wise that I've developed, which is hearing this note flat 6. So flat 6 is very important. Why? Because it's quite literally what makes G7, the dominant 3, a dominant chord. Right? So look at this. Usually, if we're in the key of E flat major, C is 6, D is 7, well, G would normally be minor. You raise it up 1, you get G7. That's quite literally what makes it a dominant chord, which is the 3rd degree. So 3-7, right? So you can do 7-3-6. That's why my ear hears this as a 7-3-6, because that's quite literally what it sounds like to me. So let's put it in C. B half diminished, we know. Check out the diatonic harmony lecture. You know that the 7th degree of the scale is half diminished. That's why the 2 chords half diminished. Instead of E minor, which is diatonic, right? Diatonic, diatonic, right? Okay, well, instead of that, I'm going to make it a secondary dominant. Check out secondary dominant lecture. I'm going to make it an E7, which is the 5 of 6. That's perfect. That movement is perfect. Now I add a 7 before it. Well, now you get this basically a 2-5-1 root movement. But instead of major, you get, that sounds like a minor 2-5. So when you do that, you're basically playing in C major, but 2-5ing, minor 2-5 to the 6, right? Because if it was a major scale in the key of A major, well, it would look like this. It would be B minor 7, E7, A major 7. But we're in the key of C. So my ear hears that 7-3-6. Now, when you start to do that, you start to really hear all these minor 2-5s really do end up starting to sound, to me at least, is how my ear hears it over the years. It really starts to hear like a 7-3-6. And I give different examples of this in different tunes. So if you go check out the parallel key movement, which is this idea of playing blues, right, over everything, this is where this comes from, right? So minor 2-5 is starting to be used in all sorts of places, because you can minor 2-5 to any of the minor chords in the key, right? So if we're in C, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, right? 7th chords. 6, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Right? Okay, well, when I start to do that, now I can, that's our minor 2-5 to the 6. Sounds really nice, right? Now, Cole Porter does this in the lecture I Love You. You can see that under parallel key movement. That's his MO. I mean, he that's one of his isms if we're in C major. Right? So instead of 7-3-6, he'll do it from the 2 chord. And then go to major 1. So be sure to check out that lecture to kind of understand that more. But again, 2-5-1s are going to be used everywhere. I could 2-5 to the 2. Right? D minor's diatonic to the key. But if I 2-5 to the 2, it's as if I'm in F. Right? Well, F's a 4th away from C. See how that? I 2-5 to the 2, minor 2-5 to the 1. Now what's another minor? Well, we already did the 6 because that's diatonic. What about the 3 chord? Right? So I could diatonic, or I could minor 2-5 to a diatonic chord, which is minor 3, but via minor 2-5, which when you think about it, 7-3-6, that's as if you're in G. That's the other direction. That's the 5 chord. Again, it's blues, 1-4-5. So I can minor 2-5 to the 3, minor 2-5 to the 2, minor 2-5 to the 1, minor 2-5 to the 6, which is where this comes from. So minor 2-5s are very important. You start to realize that when they're implemented in the right way, like Cole Porter does, he starts to overlay 2 different keys. It's very bluesy. He's playing parallel, 6 chord, 6 chord, 1 chord. So for more info on that, check out that lecture, and hopefully this demystifies minor 2-5s for you and helps you start to hear them in the right way. So enjoy.